Hey, I'm Ella Zimmerman from Gaming Trend, and we're going to be looking at Victorum, the game soon to come out from Chip Theory Games, and Josh here is going to show us the ropes.
Okay, so Victorum is kind of our love letter to solo gaming. This is a solo-only gladiator arena tactical combat. It also has a campaign element to it. So what's happened is Pluto has sent these scions down onto the Earth to rain destruction, and you are starting off as a slightly better than average hero who is sick of what's going on and wants to try to take down these scions and eventually Pluto. The way you're going to do that is you're going to move across the different regions of the map here, and you'll see there's different kinds of nodes. Those are the different events that you're going to be doing as you're going along to strengthen your hero and your team to hopefully be strong enough to take down the scion. It plays out over 4 acts. At the end of each one of those acts, you're going to take on one of these Primuses, which are some of the other heroes that are out there, and you have to try to best them to show that you are better than they are.
Okay.
And it's also going to help strengthen your team. So the different types of nodes out here correspond to the different types of events that you're going to do. So depending on which path you take to head towards these Primuses, you are going to be doing some sporting events, some bloodshed events, or maybe get some opportunities to strengthen yourself.
Okay.
So the sporting events are going to be like King of the Hill, Capture the Flag, or a sparring match. They're non-lethal, so any of your units other than your hero who die during the fight or get knocked out during the fight are going to be sent back to your camp. At the end of the fight, they respawn there, everybody's good, everything's good. The bloodshed events are going to be a fight to the death, so any of your units you lose on those, they're gone. The reason we have these different type of events is these are different ways that you're going to strengthen your team. So the sporting events, at the end of those, as long as you're victorious, you are going to recruit one of the people on the rival team that you fought. Or you're going to have these different tactics that you can use while you're fighting. And as you deploy these are kind of a one-time use. They might last the whole battle, they might be instant, but after the battle, if you use them, they're gone. So instead of recruiting one of these rivals, you can also pick up one of the tactics, or refresh all of your tactics.
Okay.
Most of the time early, you're going to be recruiting, just trying to get your team a little bit bigger. The bloodshed events, these are the fighting events. They're a little more dangerous, but at the end of those, if you are successful, you are going to upgrade your hero. So you can either upgrade their health, which is their health. You can upgrade their leadership, which increases the amount of people you can have in your camp.
Okay.
So you're going to start off with a certain amount. You can make that bigger and bigger. Or you can upgrade or get more of your dice, which you use for battling. You're going to start with a couple basic ones, so you can upgrade those, make them better, or get more of those. The last type of event are opportunities. Those are the green nodes out there. What they're going to do is they're going to let you draw 2 of these opportunity cards, which are kind of like quests. So you're going to have some objectives that you have to do, and then you're going to have the reward that you get for doing them. You're going to pick one of those. You can keep those off to the side, and then as you're doing your other battles, if you complete those objectives, you're going to get those rewards. Those rewards can vary from these prowess cards over here, which upgrade your hero, give them a permanent upgrade for the rest of the whole campaign.
Cool.
Or it can be some of these chips here, these opportunity chips. Some of those are tactics, which are a little bit better than your basic tactics. Or you can even get units out here, which are some of the strongest units in the game. So as we travel across the land, you can see there are different continents. Each different continent has a different arena that they're going to fight in.
Awesome.
So if we want to pop one of these over, you can see that there are 8 different arenas. So there are 4 mats, double-sided. So each place has their own arena. Each arena has its own asymmetrical thing that it does a little different than the other ones.
Cool.
So no specific arena is going to be the same as the other one. So that's kind of neat. They all play a little bit different. They add a little bit of variability to it. So you're just going to go across these different ones. They all have also their local units, which are going to come into play as you're fighting. and you'll have a chance to recruit them on your team. So your goal is to come up, beat these Primuses, finally take on the Scion, and win the whole thing. As far as the Primuses, you're going to have to get to whichever land they're from. You can see they're color-coded. The regions are color-coded down there.
Gotcha,
so
yeah.
It kind of gives you a little view from the beginning of, hey, I know where these 3 guys are, and you can fight these 3 in any order you want.
Okay.
So you can pick out your little path there, and it gives you a nice, there's a lot of push and pull down there of, do I want to take on this bloodshed event right now? Or I can go around this way, but it might be, a little bit longer. So the last node that we have out here are the harbors. The harbors let you kind of fast travel. They will take off a week. So the weeks that I haven't talked about yet, but you're going to have 12 weeks to take on each Primus. So every time you do an event, you're going to check off a week. So you have pretty much 12 events until then. So if you fast travel, you're going to check off an extra week, but you can go to any other harbor on the map. So that lets you move around a little bit better.
Okay.
As we get into the events, you're going to see, I'll show the card here. It's going to have what's different about that event or what you can do there. That's nice. And then it's going to have your deployment over here. So the blue side is your rivals. The red side is yours. So your rivals, let's say we were doing this one now. We're here in Atlantis. You would take a local unit first. It comes out into its spot. And then you have these bag units. You would draw a couple bag units, put them out in, and then that's going to be their deployment.
Okay.
This side over here is going to show your deployment. You don't have to do this in any order. You can do that in any order you would like.
Okay.
But you can only deploy your hero and up to 3 other units.
Okay.
Other than that, you're just going to kind of get into battle.
For thoughts right now, this reminds me more of like a roguelike video game than it does any other board game I've seen.
Yeah, there is a lot of influence from like Rogue Legacy and especially Slay the Spire.
Yeah, that's what I was
especially this spot down here.
Yeah.
You know where you're headed. You can see the different paths to get there. You get to choose your path, and you can see like where the elite units are, where the harder things are, and you can kind of weave in and out away from those if you want to.
Okay. Yeah. So let's go into battle. Give me a rundown of what a battle looks like.
All right. So we will throw a bloodshed event out here just because it's one that we can get to real quick.
Nice.
First thing you're going to do, you have a nice little combat turn sequence here on the back of the book.
Okay.
So you will start with the rivals. The rivals always start first. So I'm just going to throw a couple units out here just so we can get into how it works.
Okay.
So I'm not going to do the whole deployment there.
Yeah.
But so this one says rival units have 2 health. So this would kind of go down here in the little area so that you would remember that.
Okay.
And so you would start with the rivals, and the first step is your deployment. So you're going to take the top unit, you're going to deploy them. We know from there that they only have 2 health. They're going to go into the 1 spot.
Okay.
Always going to go into the lowest spot available for them.
Okay.
The next step is your tactic placement. So if they would have any tactics over here, you have a nice little sheet here that says, if it's a hamstring, we're going to go after the deadliest opponent without hamstring. So there's a nice thing here that shows you where their tactics go.
That's cool. I like that they behave differently.
Yeah, and it's fairly intuitive, and it's really helpful with that right there. You have most of the stuff you need right on the back of the rule book.
Awesome.
So we don't have any tactics to deploy. So the next thing is movement. When units come out, they're going to be dazed. So they're kind of like, I just come in, I'm not ready to do anything yet. A dazed unit is not going to be able to move or attack on their turn. This spot here is the special for the Atlanteans arena. This is the trident. So if we look at the card, just real quick, we can see how the units will act when they do move. Each arena has its own special hierarchy on where they will go. So on this one, they're going to go after the flag holder if you're playing capture the flag first.
Okay.
If there's no flag holder, they're going to try to go to the unoccupied trident.
Okay.
If that's taken, they'll try to go at the opponent with the trident.
Okay.
And if, say, one of their people have the trident, we're going to move over to the farthest opponent.
Okay.
So this just shows like where their marks are, their hierarchy. So this guy has fatigue. He can't move or attack. But if we look at tactical here, on our sheet over here, it says tactical units can move on their first turn. They can't attack, but they're a little more tactical, so they can go
Gotcha.
in and move around. So he's actually going to move towards the unoccupied trident. And our flavor text over here says when a unit moves on it, it equips the trident. All right. So the rival units are going to throw this trident at you the first chance they get, and it just deals 2 damage. So it's kind of like an extra piece of equipment.
Okay, and then then the trident hits you, is it just dropped
Then it
there?
is equipped onto you, yes.
Oh, okay,
So,
I love it. You just ping
so
pong
yeah,
it.
it's just like stuck to you, then you grab it, and now you have it. And the cool thing about this map is if you do a King of the Hill event, this is the King of the Hill spot. So it moves with the trident. You can pick it up and carry it.
That's cool.
So that would be the end of their turn there, because any abilities would trigger next. He has hook, but there's no, that is where you can kind of grab an opponent and pull them towards you. There's no opponents on the board right now. And then we would have engage, which is where they fight. Don't have anything to fight. So next it would come over to our turn. So if you would like to pick one of your units, you can go to the deployment stage. So you can deploy any one of these units you'd like.
Okay, hero.
Actually, this guy should have blue health. Makes it easier to see who the bad guys are.
Oh, that's right, yeah. I love that these little chips determine the health.
Yeah, it's a good visual to see.
So
So you're going to do your hero.
Oh, I
so
see.
he's
I
got
have
6 health here.
Okay. So
And the heroes do have a spot here in the back of the rule book where it shows you what their starting stats are and gives you what your starting tactics are and your starting units that go along with you. So each one has their own there.
wow, it feels so like better than everyone when you're, you're taller. Yeah.
The bad thing about your hero is if he ever dies, you lose the game.
Ah, okay.
But we have some of these blessings here. So I'm glad you brought them out so we can talk about those. The blessings, depending on the difficulty you choose, you'll get a certain number of those. As your hero loses all of his health, these are kind of like divine intervention from the other gods. They're like, no, he's not ready yet. So that lets you heal back to full, and you will mark off one of these blessings.
Okay.
The more blessings you have at the end of the game, the easier it is going to be to fight the Scion. But sometimes you need to use them to, to keep moving on.
Gotcha.
All right, so you deployed your hero. We can see from some of his prowess cards over here that he has tactical, so he can also move if he wanted to, but he's not going to be able to attack this turn. So
Okay.
there isn't really a whole lot else to do until we get down to the ability phase, and he does have hook, so that is actually going to pull this unit into him.
Okay.
Doesn't help now because we can't attack him, but he was going to get hit by him anyway. So after that, we would go back to the rival stage. So the rival has their next on their list is their tactician. So we're going to deploy the tactician. They all have 2 health, and he's going to go back on 1 because they go to the lowest that they can.
Makes sense.
Tactician is also tactical, so he's going to be able to move too. So if we go back to look at his marks, there's no flag holder. The trident's equipped by his opponent, so he's just going to go at the farthest opponent. So he's going to move 3 towards the farthest opponent.
Okay.
When there's a tie, you can choose whether it's the top or the bottom.
Okay.
After that, we are going to go to abilities. The only ability we have is hook. Not going to be useful right here. So we're going to go to engage, and this guy's going to be able to fight. Now, if we look back on the Atlantean sheet here, it says that if any of the rival units have the trident, they are going to throw it on their turn. So he is going to throw this at Krakenlance here. And normally, the trident would do 2 damage, but if a local unit throws it, they get +1 damage. So it's going to take 3 damage from him. So then we would come back to you so you could deploy. A good one to deploy here in this situation would be this guy here with taunt, because taunt means if you're adjacent to him, you have to fight him, and that's going to help protect your hero a little bit. Plus he's beefy, he's got 5 health.
One right there.
All right, so next we would come to tactic placement. If you had any of these tactics that you wanted to put out, you could.
Okay.
For now, we'll just move on to movement. everybody's right here. I don't think we're going to move.
No.
So then we would go into abilities, which we've already used, and then engage. So now let's get to a roll here since we're here. So Kraken Lance is going to attack him. He only has one range, so he can only get the one beside him. But that means you get to roll 2 blue dice. Now if you check out the dice here, I'll go ahead and throw a couple out here. You can see the different kind of pips at the side.
Yeah.
That is how many hits are on each die. So your yellow are your basic
so
die.
Cool.
Yeah, your yellow are your basic, they have 2. Your blue's gonna have 3, your green has 4, your black has 5, and then your red is just an auto hit. You may say, why have an auto hit? Well, there are things that can adjust rolls, so we went ahead and made the 6-sided die too. So you're gonna get to roll 2 blue and 1 yellow die and see what you can do to hit this guy. Nice. So you got 2 hits. That's all his health. He would come over here and he's gone out for the fight.
Sweet.
So we would just continue to do this back and forth until you met your goals there, which on this one it would be to kill all the rival units. And then at the end you would be able to upgrade your hero or upgrade your dice.
Okay. What is this?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
That's yours.
What is this Scion influence I see here?
Okay, so let's say at the end of this battle, you did everything. You're out here.
Yeah.
You move into the next one, there's another bloodshed, and you're like, you know, my hero's only got 3 health. I really don't want to do another bloodshed fight because I don't want him to die and have to use one of these blessings.
Okay.
So instead of doing the event, you can spectate the event. When you spectate the event, you'll heal your hero back up to full, and you get to, or you have to mark off one of these Scion things.
Okay.
You can also take the event, put it behind, take the next 3 events and kind of look through them and see which order you want to put them in. So it helps you set up a little bit more.
Okay.
But the bad thing is you have to mark off this Scion track. So on the Scion influence track, once you get to the 4th spot, you're going to add one of these Banes, or draw one of these Banes chips. Some of them go to the bag, some of them go to the camp, none of them are good.
Okay.
So you can check this one out and read it if you'd like to.
Camp, this Bane counts as a unit in your camp for the purposes of leadership. Okay.
So this would just go to your camp and it's going to take up one of your spots for the rest of the game.
Okay.
So Banes are never good to get. Some of them are a little worse than others, but
Can you get rid of them?
nope, they are there until the end.
Okay.
The reason being is once we finally get down to the Scion fight, you're going to take all the Banes out of play, and then each Scion has different things, but a lot of times, depending on the number of Banes, it's going to add that much health to the Scion.
Okay, cool.
Now your blessings, any blessings you have left at the end of that, you're going to be able to get rid of some of those Banes right before you fight the Scion.
Cool.
So,
And then I see at the top of this same thing here, there's class. There's 4 different classes.
yeah, so your classes are Archer, Attacker, Defender, and Tactician, and that pretty much just tells kind of what they are.
Okay, so at the start of the game, do you decide what class your hero
No, that's
is?
also in your setup here.
Okay.
It really determines on the heroes what other type of units you have.
Oh,
So
there's,
since-
there's different types of heroes to
Yes,
play as, of course.
So since Kraken Lance is a Tactician, he's going to get an Attacker, an Archer, and a Defender.
Okay.
If he was a Defender, he would get an Attacker, an Archer, and a Tactician. So that just it gives you the other type of units that you have.
How many heroes are there?
There are 8 different heroes, and there are also 8 different Scions, which gives you
Cool.
64 different like combinations there of, you know, fighting a hero against a Scion. And there is also an epilogue book that has a small little blurb for if you beat, like say we beat the Hydra with Kraken Lance, you go to the Hydra, look down Kraken Lance, and there's an actual story, like a little chapter or paragraph about, you know, your story of beating a Hydra.
Awesome. That touches on the last thing I wanted to ask about. So this is obviously like a grand adventure,
Oh yeah.
like epic, like Gilgamesh. So there's, I imagine in the gameplay, there's going to be a lot of inherent narrative. Is there any written narrative to go along with that?
Most of the narrative you will get, there's a little bit with your hero that tells you about when you pick those.
Okay.
And then the rest is going to come in the epilogue, but there is flavor text along with each of the events and stuff. So
Awesome.
So you kind of have your beginning, you have your end, and then you build the story in the middle.
Sweet. About how long of a playtime would this be?
So for each act, it's going to be about an hour and a half. The total campaign would be 6 to 8 hours,
Okay.
depending. But it does have a nice system of putting it away and kind of having a save state. So if you take these cards off and leave them in order, you would pop these big chips out, whichever ones you have left, put them in one of the chip trays. Then you can take this cover, put it on top of it, and there you have your save state.
That's
so
awesome.
every unit that you still have left is here. Any units that you faced would either be with you or in the bag. And then on the back of here, there's also a spot for any kind of notes that you would need along with it.
That's so cool.
So yeah, it's set up for, an hour and a half play and do that 2 or 3 times. And
Yeah, this really is a love letter. Oh my gosh.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And
so
everything you see here is base game. This is no upgrades. This is all comes with the base game in the box.
okay. And when will this be available?
We're hoping to ship to Kickstarters in late October, and then the pre-orders and anything after that would be November.
Okay. And the asking price?
$150.
$150.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's with all the neoprene mats, all the plastic cards, PVC.
I mean, that's a lot of playtime you can get out of
yeah.
$150. So this looks awesome. I would love to give this a try. I can't even think of anything else to say because there's just so many cool things about this, and it's gorgeous. So gorgeous.
Yeah. And one thing that I've found playing it recently is there's going to be tactics out here and hard decisions to make in battle, but there are a lot of really good decisions to make on this track as you're moving along, trying to figure out what you're going to do next, trying to pick up a couple quests, and there was a lot more good decisions down there than I expected there to be.
Cool. Yeah, thank you so much for giving us a look at this. This is an incredible opportunity. I'm very excited to get to see this game in real life.
All right, thank you guys for coming out.